Hi, my name is Joyce Hill, and I consider myself a collage artist. I just finished at a symposium in New Orleans where we talked about how important collage is and how people don't emphasize it enough, and it's very hard to get into museums and galleries when you show as a collage artist. I found that a little disturbing because I don't seem to have too much problem, but mine usually is a mixed media type thing. But I have a tendency to put a lot of collage in my work. This series is starting now with this piece. I basically started with the idea of one image that I had taken, a photograph I had taken of an movie that was happening in North Carolina, and an actor who was in the movie about gangsters. And this is the picture right here of the actor who has gone on to Hollywood and is kind of a bit actor, but he basically was in this student production that my daughter was art directing. My daughter is an art director in LA, and she gave me the photograph with his permission to put in this piece. It's called Chances Are, and it's about the gambling and the addiction of gambling and where it goes from being, a person that ends up in a lot of the casinos in town or whatever. But the idea that, as I worked on it, it came out to be more of like, to me, a poster or a billboard idea. And so I thought to myself, I could really do an interesting series, and I like to work in series, about billboards. I picked up along the way in my travels a lot of collage, different pieces from the street, from people who have given me things, from different towns and different cities. So I like to make my pieces around a central idea of where I've been. As I said, this one started with this character, and then some of the pictures are from New Orleans, where they have areas that have very much gotten run down. Another photograph in here is from Buffalo. So this one was kind of a combination. The dominoes that are in here, which I put in over here and about, were to do with mainly playing games and getting involved with gambling eventually. But I like the idea of black and white and, the very little color. The next ones I'm going to do will have a lot of color in them and are going to be based on different towns that I'm going to visit. I plan on going across the country next year, and I'm doing a trek with my husband, with my daughter, and I'm going to try to pick up different images as I go across and different things off the streets that I visit, and end up with a theme behind one central idea of where I've been, where I'm going to. But billboards, to me, are everywhere, and you see a lot of them in California, you see a lot of them in some of the bigger cities, and it's interesting because billboards started in like 1925, and they were mostly painted images on sides of buildings. That's where they started. And then they worked into creating more and more of what you see these days of billboards that are freestanding. In LA, they still do painted billboards, which surprised me, but they really wanted to look authentic in LA, so if you drive down through Hollywood, there is a lot of billboards that are all hand-painted, and they actually have two companies that do hand-painted billboards, which is, I just found out, which I had no idea about. So this whole series that I'm going to work on, I'm going to try to do mostly in collage. Again, I go back to the idea that I feel that collage should get a better rap than it does, I guess you could say. And I want to see if I can do more work with strictly collage and very little painting, but more on the idea of combining these images to send a message. And as I say, this one started out with the idea of gambling and worked into some other things to do with Hollywood. And It just kind of evolved. The moon on the top, or the image on the top, I took with my camera this year actually in Charleston, and it ended up, the eclipse was on my birthday, and that was kind of, to me, kind of a special thing going on. So it kind of worked into this as far as like the gambling and the images are all to do with things that happen on Earth, and then you have the space above it, which is what's happening up in our atmosphere, in our universe. The combination kind of intrigued me. So that might happen in more of the ones that I'm working on. I'm very spontaneous. I kind of pick an image and then I just kind of go with whatever the image is. That's how I start. I don't start with a painting. Usually it's with something I've either taken or found. I have some metal letters that I have found that are huge. And I'm going to start using in my next one the metal letters. And if I can't find the metal letters, then I'm going to paint these metal letters and have it work in with a collage background but painted letters. So I'm hoping it will be interesting, and I'm hoping that maybe people will see where the different areas that I've come from with each image. But as a whole, I think billboards really say a lot across the country. We see them a lot. They tell a story. Sometimes they're just advertising. But I find the actual having a billboard and looking at it as you're driving by is distracting, but also interesting. So, is there any questions? That's basically what I'm saying. Yes, Jen.
In this series, I've seen others of these in the series. Do you have a format here at all in your head?
No, I start out with no format at all. I work better that way. When I start working with a design, original design, you know, and draw it all out, I usually end up wandering way off. I can't work that way. So it's more of that I start with, like in this one I started with the central image. This is also from the movie. That's an image of two people that were in the movie also. But a lot of the things that I put in these pieces are found objects or they're photographs I've taken. But it seems to work better if I have no preconceived concept. And I'm kind of intrigued on where I'm going when I do them. So, any other questions? I'm hoping it should take about, I'm figuring at least a year to do all that I'm planning on doing, because they're going to be big. I'm planning at least this size, if not bigger. So, and it will be more in a format of, that will look like a billboard. So it's going to be elongated, and maybe I'll have one in this show next year, who knows. But anyway, so that's me. That's what I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce.